Let's take a quick tour through the user interface of Resolve, because it's got some uniqueness to it that is worth taking a tour of. So when you first install it, it's going to prompt you for the location of a database, and that's just where it keeps track of the information of all the projects that you're doing. So here is my project manager. That's the name of the window that shows up first. And you can see I already have several databases over here, and several projects, and even a folder. That's how I keep things organized. But the first time you open it up, of course, it'll be empty. You also see across the top here, there's local options, network options, and cloud options. Local is stored on your computer only. Network is stored on a local network, like if, say, there's a studio which has several computers attached to a network, you could share a project there. And then cloud is a cloud service that Blackmagic offers. Blackmagic is the company that makes this. That lets you collaborate very easily. We'll be getting to that later. For now, we're just going to stick with local databases and assume that everybody who's editing is going to be editing on the same computer. I am going to here make a new project so that I can take you through what the interface looks like when you first open it up. And we'll call the project Nickel Tour. So the first thing I want to look at, believe it or not, are the project settings. So in the file menu here, we go down to project settings, and of interest here is that it defaults to 24 frames per second. That's the number of pictures in each second of video. 24 is not bad, there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of YouTubers swear by it, but it's designed for films. And we aren't necessarily making films, so we're going to change this default frame rate here to either 29.97 if you're using a fancy camera like this one, or 30 if you're using a phone. So we'll pick 30 and hit save. Now, along the bottom of the interface here, you see those several icons, and these are the things I'm going to be showing you as we go along. It opens up in the cut page, which is a simplified interface for cutting video together, but we need to get video into the project first before we can start cutting it into a final product. So the first icon here is the media page. And in the media page, it gives you an interface. Up here you can see all the hard drives that are attached to the computer and some network drives that I don't have connected right now. So I'm going to go into my C drive, to my assets folder, and that's where I keep all of my videos. So we'll go into, I'm just going to pick one of my renders. We'll grab the more B-roll and we'll bring that down into the project. And now the project has a reference to that video wherever it lives on my hard drive. I can make all the changes I want to the video inside the editor, and it won't change the video on the hard drive. That's an important thing to remember. You're not destroying anything as you're editing. You're just making decisions about a file that exists someplace else. So now that we have a video, we need to edit it somehow. So if I go to the cut page, down here is the timeline. That's where I would be editing something. There's nothing there. That's because I've only brought a video into the media pool. I haven't actually put it into a timeline yet. There's a couple ways you can do this, but I'm just going to take the video here and drag it down into the timeline like so. Now we have a timeline, which is a place where we can make all kinds of editing decisions, special effects. You can go crazy with it. So the important thing to know about Resolve is that the timeline is shared across all the different tabs along the bottom. So this is this timeline in the cut page, which we'll get more into later. Here's the same timeline in the edit page, which is like the cut page, but it offers a lot more tools. As such, you can do way more with it, but it's more confusing at first if you're not already experienced non-linear editing like this on a computer. That's why we started in the cut page. That's a different video. This page right here, this is the fusion page, or what we'll call it for now, the confusion page. This is where special effects happen, like deep special effects. We're not going to get to this till way later. It's simple at its heart, but there's so many options that we'll just forget about that one for now. And now this is the color page. The color page is where you do color correction, some color special effects, that kind of thing. We'll get into this more, but this is Resolve's claim to fame. This is extremely good. So even the free version of Resolve is widely regarded as one of the best tools for doing color correction in. And Hollywood movies are color corrected with this very tool. Again, we'll get into this all in more detail later. The next page is Fairlight, and Fairlight is their name for the audio-specific part of the workflow. The Fairlight page has a lot more tools for dealing with audio, and I do touch on this in the practical editing introduction. Again, way more complex, but it doesn't have to be. It could be very simple as using these sliders here and some of the special effects like EQ, dynamics. Again, we'll get into all that later, but there's audio-specific tools. And the last page here is the Deliver tab. This gives you a variety of tools for making a final video in a lot of different formats. This you won't have to look at right away. If we go back to the edit page here, you see at the top there's a quick export, which sets up all the options for export to defaults that are probably just going to be fine. But if you have specific needs, the Deliver page gives you a lot more options over here. So a quick wrap up. As the workflow sort of goes in order across these tabs, the media page is where you bring assets into the project that you know you're going to use. The cut page is used to very quickly assemble a project. If your project isn't that complex, you can do the whole thing in the cut page. The edit page is where you can do a little bit more finesse work, a lot more finesse work, and make an edit that's a little bit more complex than the cut page is designed for. The fusion page we're going to ignore for now, special effects. The color page is where you make shots from different cameras, taken on different days and in different lighting situations, all kind of match each other so it doesn't seem as disjointed as it might without those color correction tools. It's pretty simple at first. The Fairlight page is where you do audio tweaks that you can't do in either the cut or the edit page. You can do some there, but the more advanced tools are in Fairlight. And the Deliver page gives you all the options that you might need for creating a final product from all the decisions you make to either put it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, DVD. So that's the Davinci Resolve interface in a nutshell. As we go on, we'll get into much more detail about each of the different processes from beginner to advanced. See you there.